Yo, it's a beautiful summer's evening out here in Southampton, and today marks 2 months since I started a full-time job, and I thought it was sort of an appropriate time to reminisce on what was quite an arduous time in my life, and that was finding the full-time job. It was something that took me 4 months, and being able to look back on it now, I realized that it's sort of something that was quite pivotal and impactful in my life because of what the world put me through. So I wanted to come out and reminisce on times past and what I learned and what I would sort of suggest for other people who are perhaps going through a similar experience. So for a little context, I'm a videographer. I went to university, I studied it. In Australia, I ran my own business doing freelance work for 4 years. And then I moved to the UK 2 years ago. I tried to do the same thing. It didn't pop off the way I thought it would. So it got to the end of 2025 and I made it my mission to find a full-time job doing videography. And I didn't know what the experience was going to be like. And having sort of gone through it now, I realized that there's a lot of people who are going through a similar experience or, are about to enter the same thing. And I hope that this video will sort of give a little bit of guidance and aid in what can come. Because I went through it and it was something I never really expected. I was looking for primarily videography work, a little bit of, digital marketing, a little bit of graphic design. Those are things I've had, some experience in. But it was primarily videography. And I was applying for jobs where I am in Southampton, up to London, sort of within commutable distance from where I currently am. I got my statistics here. My number one tip: track your job applications. Write down the job title, the company, the dates you applied, and then I always did like a little status type thing. So pending or no response, rejected. And for me, that always helped sort of know what it was I was waiting for or what I'd already been rejected for. I could search on days, see how many applications I did, all types of things. At the end of it, I applied for 73 jobs. And for them, I received 35 rejections and 32 without a response. Now, I'm going to get into the rejections in a moment, but I'm going to start with the without a response. Now, I'm talking about almost half of the applications that I sent in. I was not even met with a response. Everything I applied for was a legitimate job. Now, it was staggering to me because I wasn't someone who had no experience. I wasn't someone who was just doing it for the sake of doing it. I believed that every job I applied for, I had the potential to get. That was how I felt. I wasn't applying for any sort of executive type positions or internships. I was applying for jobs that I believed I met the criteria for. And to know that these people thought that it wasn't even worthy of a response was absolutely stunning to me. It was probably the most surprising thing of the whole process, to just be met with nothing. And it was something that really shocked me at the start, but then it became normal. I sort of expected that once a couple of weeks had passed, I would not hear anything. And most of the time, that is exactly what happened. With the rejections, it was a real mix. Some places rejected me. The quickest rejection I ever had was 1 hour. The longest rejection I had was 2 months. If I hadn't written down the job, I would not have even remembered it. It had been 2 months and they rejected me. And it's nice to get the rejections. Every rejection I ever got was completely generic. Now, this is my second realization for people going through this job hunt. For the most part, you will never get any feedback. You will not know what you did wrong. You will not know where to improve. You will not know anything. I just didn't know what I was doing wrong. Like, even with the interviews I had 2 meaningful interviews. And they were both interviews I had where I went in and I left both of them feeling like I had got the job. Now, I'm not someone to really like blow up myself too big or anything, but I felt really confident with how I had portrayed myself, how I spoke about what I did, how I aligned it with these businesses that I was talking to. And I was rejected for both of them. And the feedback I received, both of them called me, which was something unexpected, considering so many places never really even acknowledged me. I was surprised to get the sort of actual correspondence. They called me. And for both of them, I was told that someone else had more experience than me. One of them, their words was that I was the second option, and if that person had declined, they would have offered it to me. So my only feedback from essentially failing those 2 interviews was that someone else is better. What constructive criticism can I take out of that? There's nothing. Like, just someone did it more than you, and that's the reason why. So, I've seen on LinkedIn people talking about the fact that, like the rejections are so generic and all that type of stuff. It is. If you're getting anything more than like complete silence, I think you're doing well. So whatever you can sort of get out of those rejections, try it. I got absolutely nothing out of them. My third piece of advice is, it is not a dream job until you get the job. Now, you can see a job listing and it is like the absolute most incredible thing ever. You meet all the criteria. It's with a company you've always wanted to work for. It's in a place you want to be. Like, it's just an incredible job. And it's sort of natural to start the imagining, the daydreaming, the thinking like, wow, like imagine if I was to do that job. And the reason why I speak with such sort of experience is because I did that exact same thing. There was many jobs I applied for where I was thinking like, wow, this is a really good job. This is a job that I'd be super excited for. And what I would find is that I got ahead of myself. I was thinking too prematurely. I was getting excited before I should have. A lot of those jobs that I was feeling that way about, I didn't end up even hearing from them. So way too early, way too much sort of energy was invested in them. And I would have definitely sort of looked after myself better if I wasn't getting into it and feeling that excited that early on. It shouldn't have been happening. As I sort of progressed and moved on, the jobs didn't matter to me. If I didn't get the job, I'd say like, I didn't care about the job. I didn't want the job. And for me, that sort of helped to get through the process of being rejected a substantial amount. Another piece of advice I have is, do not make the job search your entire life. It can be something where obviously you place a priority on. It's something that you can sort of emphasize and do. I would always limit myself to how many applications I would do. So I was always making sure that I would never do more than a certain amount a day. I felt like if I was waking up in the morning, then all day I was doing it, it would lead to burnout. I wouldn't be doing as good of a job. I might be making mistakes, all types of things. So I made sure that I wasn't doing that. I would always sort of limit it. I mean, the most applications I ever did in one day was 5. So I was always sort of making sure that I was in check, wasn't going too far. And off the back of that as well, do other things. So during the time I was doing a job search, it was winter in the UK. It wasn't the best time to sort of be struggling. But I would still watch basketball. I would still read, write, cook, go out with my girlfriend. I picked up a part-time job. And that allowed me to sort of get my mind off of it. So at no point did I ever feel like my entire life is this job hunt. It was often secondary, even though I realized how important it was to me. But it was never to the level where I was feeling overwhelmed. I know some people out there don't have that luxury. I'm only saying that if you can, as much as possible, look after your mental health. And then lastly, and to me, this is sort of what I would say is the most impactful lesson I learned. Do not let these rejections and these applications alter how you view yourself. Now, you are going up against, a a wide array of people. You do not know how many people you're going up against when you're applying for a job. There was one job I did where I heard back from the recruiter and they had 500 applicants for, I think it was a videographer marketing co-position. And 500 people put in their applications for probably the same amount of belief I did. There would have been a huge array of different levels of talent going for that one job. But 499 of those people would not have got it. So it's not to say that those people don't have skills. And now to bring it back personally, you cannot let your own views of yourself change as a result of this, because you will get rejected. You will find that you're not being treated with the respect that you deserve. And during this time, I had to look back and think about the fact that I have done so many incredible things during my videography career. The array of people that I've worked alongside, the work that I've done, the places I've been, it is far beyond what I should have been getting rejected for. And that's not to sound cocky or full of myself or anything, but I'm just saying, like, it is valuable, it's worthy what I've done. I've done some incredible things, and I would never let the fact that, oh wow, like, this place rejected me, they must think my work sucks. I was never letting that sort of alter how I viewed my own work and my own abilities and everything that I've done previously, because I know how valuable that is. I know how special that was. So that never changed. It was always separate. I'd find a way to sort of keep it separate. So obviously they were judging me. They were the place I was applying for were determining whether I had the worth of working for them. And 72 places said no. So I was still being judged, but I had to keep it separate. It had to be different. And I think that's what sort of got me through at the end of it, was that I never lost the belief in myself. I always knew that I would find something and it would come. And fortunately for me, 4 months after I started my job hunt, it did come. I found a full-time videography job, which was what I set out to do at the start. It was what I was looking for, and I found it. And so to me, that was something that was, a huge achievement, and something that I felt really proud of myself for persevering through. And, I've often thought back to that time and realized just how brutal the experience was. Like, to really be going through that was amazing. And I'm on LinkedIn a lot now. That's another tip as well. Like, just do LinkedIn stuff. When you're doing a job hunt, just use LinkedIn. I found people who were in the same position as me, and that helped me a lot to know that, oh yeah, there's other people going through this. It was personalized, and that made me feel a lot better. So yeah, build your LinkedIn too, and just believe in yourself. It's different for everyone. Like, obviously I'm in the UK, I'm a British citizen as well, so that wasn't even a factor. I know people who are international students who are abundant in talent, and they have a difficult time finding jobs. So I know it's different for everyone. And all I can say is just hang in there. Like, don't ever lose the faith that you hold in yourself. Know how important you are. Find creative outlets. Don't lose your spark, and hold on. It will come. Don't let someone else's opinion of your work determine how you view it as well. And during a job hunt, that sort of encapsulates your entire being. So that's my last piece of advice. Believe in yourself, hang in there, it'll get better. So I'm just gonna go back and enjoy this beautiful Southampton weather. I mean, this is summer. It's been 20 degrees the last few days. That's how it is out here. But I got a full-time job, so happy.